This week on the show, JJ goes to Morphettville, I go to Caulfield. Caulfield Cup Day, obviously it's the third day of the carnival. Well, true last Saturday, out 12, back out 3 metres now. I think the intel is going to be important. I don't think it'll be as savage as what it was on Guinea's Day, so look out for that. Morphettville, JJ's been flying plus 55% ROI, so you just got to be following him in. I've got a few at Caulfield as well. Pin the tail. Last week, it was another will. I get it again. It's now 8-5. This week, Pride of Jenni. Interesting horse up in Sydney in the King Charles III. It's going to be a ripping race. I won't tell you what his price is. I won't tell you what my price is. You just tell me yours. We'll see you soon. This is the Jules and JJ show. Hello and welcome to the Jules and JJ show. My name is Julian Valance, joined across the border by JJ James Jordan. Now you were going to be here, JJ, but lack of leadership, we've decided to send you back over to SA and a $20,000 fine. And I'm glad you've taken off your ray gun top.
Oh, I told you not to get me started on this. I only found out about it 5 minutes ago. I'm not big on the news, but what an absolute disgrace that is. I mean, are you kidding me? God. All right, take the captaincy away, give him a hard $20,000 for lack of leadership. You can't quantify lack of leadership in a dollar sense. Anyway, how have you been this week?
Good. AFL CEO is your mate anyway as well, so you might have to have a word with him. Well,
I'll do my best. See if I can twist his arm.
Let's do the track intel, hey?
Why not?
All right, track analysis, JJ. We're at Morphettville. Bit of cloud stuff. What do you got to talk to the punters about?
Yeah, that is the issue. I can't trust the forecast. It's supposed to rain. If we get the rain, it'll be probably a 5, I would say. If we don't get the rain, it'll obviously be a 4. So track rating wise, it's going to be somewhere between a good to soft, depending on if that rain arrives. The rail is definitely going to be plus 3 metres, irrelevant about the weather there. The wind is 15 kilometres southwesterly. That's normally pretty right, the forecast with the wind. That's not a huge impactful wind direction or speed. The intel is often lanes 1 and 2 are inferior with the rail in that sort of, well, most of the time, to be honest, on the outer track, the lanes 1 and 2 are not the A ground, but it should be a fair track. I don't mind gates lanes 1 and 2 not being superior. It generally makes for good racing.
And even if you do lead, you can push off anyway to get to the spot that you need to be, whether it be lane 3 or 4 or whatever. So I think that's what you're suggesting is even if you've drawn 1 or 2, it's probably not the worst thing in the world. All right, let's get to Caulfield. So third of the days at Caulfield for the Carnival. So obviously with the True on Saturday, we went out 12 metres on Wednesday. We now go out 3 metres the entire circuit. Again, a bit like JJ, bit of rain predicted, so we've just got to be careful there. I think it's possible to get into the soft range, but I don't think we're going to be on a 6 or a 7. So I think you're going to probably be on the good 4 at best, probably soft 5, soft 6 at worst. So I still think every horse is going to get their opportunity. Again, we spoke about this last week. The wind is so important at Caulfield. It's a southwesterly. It's 25 to 35 kilometres, so it's enough. It's impactful, but it's not that southerly. Then we know that's complete tailwind in the chute and then allows horses on speed. It's a southwesterly, so it's sort of going to be behind them, but obviously hitting them from the left. Again, don't think a disadvantage to be on speed with that wind, so take that on note. Important again, what do I think with the chute and the circle? We nailed it last week, we got lucky. I think the chute's actually quite even. It played, possibly a little bit on speed, but there was some chances for horses off speed in the chute in particular on Saturday. I think it's going to be fair. Circle, forward of midfield and advantage. We spoke about last week that leaders, horses in lanes 1, 2 would be a massive plus. Just on speed is the plus, I think, for Saturday. Again, they want to be forward of midfield, 1,400 metres plus races. That is the intel for Caulfield. All right, JJ, Fox factors, they've been going well. This week, I thought we'd talk about picking your moments, having opportunities, and then sometimes keeping the powder dry, but also opportunities when you should actually strike. And I think last week, I was really confident in the fact that I knew the way Caulfield would play, so I was happy to have plenty of bets and play into that space of on-speed runners. This week, I think it's a lot harder because in saying that, what are the things that we need to be looking for? You're going to be looking at high percentage plays. You want to think where you're actually got the advantage, that you think you've got the numbers running for you. you need the variables on your side. So I thought we were going to get the track right last week. This week, I don't know what is going to happen in terms of rainfall. So again, that's important. I want to see probably a couple of races to see how this track's going to play. So again, don't think I want to be charging in on a Thursday or Friday for a Saturday when you don't know all those things. And the staking's important as well. Are you going to charge in straight away on a Wednesday or Thursday for a Saturday, or you just hold off and then maybe bet at the death? Any other things there in terms of picking your moments? Because I know a lot of people, when they get to these big days, whether it be Caulfield Cup Day, Everest, Melbourne Cup Day, they go, I've got to have a bet. You actually don't have to have a bet. And sometimes those races, as much as they're high volume races, you don't need to play into them too much.
Yeah, I think you're spot on about that. It can, sometimes you mentioned about the track bias being one of the factors, and that's definitely one. I also just find on a race by race scenario, like it's important to look at a race and go, this is a non-betting race for me. And similarly, I look at a race and think this is a race I must bet in. So, example on Saturday, race number 7 at Morphettville. There's a couple of horses in the race. Vintage Star Horse 1, it's sort of 650. I've got to mark double figures, and Overstated is 550. I've got to mark about 3 times that. Now I look at that and go, right, I'm betting in this race. I have to. If I think I'm right with those two, and I'm confident that I am, I've got to be betting in those races. So it's about picking your mark. And in that race, I want to make a book. I'll probably back 2 or 3 horses around those two. And that's a really good race for me to hone in on. Another race where it's a flatter market, I don't have a strong opinion, I don't think the market's wrong, I haven't got a theory around why it's wrong. Maybe they're the races you keep your powder dry. But yeah, I think picking your moment and backing yourself in when you can make a case to do so is really important.
All right, so that's Fox Factors for this week, putters. 3 races this week for the Group 1 set. JJ, it's pretty hot at the high end, to be honest. We go, obviously in Melbourne, you've got the Caulfield Cup, and then you've got the Everest and the King Charles III. Let's get to the Caulfield Cup. In terms of, it's a flat open market, there's no doubting that. I'll set you up in terms of what I thought the map would be. And there's a bit of outside speed, I think. Saturday, that's what I'm going to call it. I know it's not right, but that's what I'll go with, the International. It led 2 starts ago in an international race over 2,000 metres, and it's drawn quite cute. Wouldn't be surprised to see them roll forward. And then you've got the outside pressure of Deny Knowledge, I think, in 17. Ilias, you know what it's going to do in 21. Obviously, it'll come in a little bit with those scratchings. I think it's going to be genuine speed. And then I think if you looked at the draw and you go, what's the horse that's been suited the most? And I'd probably say a horse like Buckaroo, especially with Joe Moreira on. He's probably going to get to the right spot. I think he settles probably forward of midfield in that second running line somewhere. How did you see it map up, and did you see any edge or advantage where the market was?
No, look, I think the 2 you mentioned going forward is what I had. Deny Knowledge went too well last start and drops in weight for it to not go forward and try and adopt similar tactics, I would say. I think the tempo of the race definitely has a say on Buckaroo's chances. They want it to be genuine, not a sit sprint, obviously, but if they really rock it along, a 2400, a grueling 2400, whether that just plays against Buckaroo a little bit, but no, I think the map's as you thought it would be. As far as sort of looking at the field and trying to find overs, I've got the market in front of me. The 2 that I thought were chances, again, if the rain comes, I think Buckaroo's got a better chance. I would shorten it up. I've sort of done 2 markets, one for a sort of soft 6, 7, and one for where I think it'll be in that sort of 4 range. Buckaroo, if it's wet, I think it'll be very, very hard to beat. If it's not wet, I think Zardozi has got a great chance. I just don't know how that horse goes, A, at Caulfield, and B, on a wet track. The other one I think is maybe lacking a bit of respect is Deny Knowledge. I know the way it won last start might not appeal to people thinking, can it do it again? But shit, led from the front, it was tough, it dropped significantly in weight, and you know it's going to be in front with a featherweight at the halfway mark. So they're the sort of 3 I'm looking around. Certainly if it's wet, I think Buckaroo's a great chance.
Yeah, 7-day backup too for Deny Knowledge, and it has done it before last year. I think it won the Matriarch off finishing 4th in the Empire Rose. So there is a profile for a horse like that. It's just whether you want to go Zara to Newitt and how much you sort of factor that in. But yeah, absolutely, no doubt, sort of with you there on all your thoughts. I think Buckaroo's probably going to be the horse to beat, and no doubt marked it favourite. Let's get up to Sydney for the Everest. I don't know if you saw the barrier draw, but there was a bit of chat about that, JJ. You would have been all over that kind of stuff. That's right in your wheelhouse, those kinds of things. So
I saw some people say, people are talking about it. That's what they want. It's like, no. They want people to talk about it, and then they want you to talk about it positively. So you want the same amount of traction, even more so, but it's got to be a good news story, not, yeah, we saw it, did everyone see that? Geez, it was bad. You want to say we all saw it and gee, it was good. So I don't know who thought that was a good idea, but anyway, there's a $20,000 fine coming someone's way for a lack of leadership.
You can't find yourself. The Everest, what did you make of this? So again, draw comes out in terms of speed. I think IME probably has to go forward from that gate, whether it can get to 1,200 metres, but it's got to put itself into a winning position. Storm Boy's drawn really nice, I think. So again, they could probably sit in the 1-1 if they wanted to. Lady of Camelot's drawn wide, so you think its only possible chance is to roll forward, so then that dictates a bit of speed. Couple of horses, Ballinipatina, I thought 12. They probably have to go back to last, take their medicine. I wish I win. I don't think there's any issue there drawing 9. That's just sort of its MO. Any edge here, because I marked this actually $8 the field, so I found this really, really tricky. Have you got an edge or angle for the punters that you can tip them into?
There's one I think is good odds, but firstly on the map, I think, Gay and Adrian having those horses that go forward, I think with Storm Boy, they might say just go to the front. Because if it doesn't go to the front, works and sits outside the lead, what does Lady of Camelot do then? I think they need Storm Boy to take one for the team, cross and lead, and then Lady of Camelot can lob and sit outside it. So I wouldn't be surprised if Storm Boy goes to the front. On my map, I've got him leading. I've got Lady of Camelot outside leader and I am me box seat. So see what happens with them. Look, I've got a note here around horses that can win. I've got 1, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9 and 11 can all win. So it's that sort of race. Thanks. But there's one, looking at the market, I am 6.25 the field. I've got Jolie Star marked favourite at 6.25. The one I think is over the odds, I've got Private Eye marked $13 to 26. So if I'm betting in the race, which I will in the next sort of couple of hours, I'll be backing Private Eye each way at that sort of $26 quote. I think it's run bloody well in the Everest in the past. I think its last couple haven't been bad. I think it's ready to run a peak rating for the prep. Whether that's good enough to win, I don't know. It's going to be a good race. But Private Eye each way is the best value in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a really interesting one actually, because Map, any issue? Because he probably has to go back. Again, he didn't draw great, did he? He probably just goes back and just finds the backside.
I think he'll be quiet and settle probably midfield or worse than. I reckon Ballinipatina has a big chance to be 3 wide punching. And if someone's going to get her back, it'll probably be this horse. So yeah, I think it definitely is not going to go forward. It'll just take a little drag out of the gates and look for a bit of cover. But yeah, I thought it was a good each way chance at the price.
Well, if he ends up getting Ballinipatina's back, it's probably the right horse to take, because she's going to take you in at some stage. Now, whether she's floundering probably at the 100 metres because she's done it tough, but she's the right horse to take into the race. So that's some interesting points there from JJ in the Everest. The King Charles III, look, it's a nice race. There's some horses here I wish they sort of didn't go there. Horses like Chow Wolf and horses like that. I'd love to see them. Would have loved to have seen him in the Caulfield Cup. Geez, I reckon he would have been a great bet in that race. But anyway, he's here. Pride of Jenni, we know, is going to do her thing, and Fangirl's going to do her thing. How did you separate the two, and what have you got marked favourite? Because I think we might have a differing point of view here.
I have got her marked Pride of Jenni, I've got Pride of Jenni marked favourite. I've got her marked 245 in 100% market.
Yep.
Because conditions aren't going to matter. If they get a shower and maybe Fangirl's not as well suited, it won't matter for Pride of Jenni. As far as map and luck and tactics, not going to matter. We know what she'll do. She'll go straight to the front. So it's very, I find them hard to penalise when you know they're going to do that. A bit like Deny Knowledge in the Caulfield Cup. If it's going to lead with 50 kilos, that's my starting point. She's going to lead and probably be 3 in front at the, at least 3 or 4 in front at the 4-500. So start with that and work your way back. So I've got her marked favourite. Fangirl, I've got marked 380, but if it was wet, I would probably push her out a bit if it's worse than a 6. I don't mind if it's a 5 or a 6, doesn't bother me. If it's a 7, I think you start sort of taking a bit off her. The reason I've got those two, in the market, if not slightly shorter than the market, is because I've got Cheer Wolf marked bigger. He's $8. I've got him closer to double that, taking a set against. I think it was a beautiful setup for it last start. I think they paid the price this start. I don't think it's as good a setup, especially where it's going to get in the map. It'll be inside runners, and I'm happy to risk it, but I think it's a really good race. As far as trying to find overs, the only horse that I've got as a slight over really is Tom Kitten, and I've got him, I haven't backed him. I've got him marked. He's to the 20s if you're shopping well. I've got him marked a couple of rolls shorter.
You seem to hold hands with Tom Kitten a little bit, don't you? I reckon
he's got some
as well.
He's a big run last start. He never had cover. It was a good run. Weight for age,
Sympathiser.
That's the problem.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. I think it's going to be a great race to watch because she'll be in front. If it dries out, cannot wait to see Fangirl try and run her down. It's going to be an absolute belter of a race. The King Charles III Stakes. That's the Group 1 set, punters. Okay, JJ, SA set. You've got 3 for us, plus 55% return on investment, profit on turnover, whichever way you want to cut it. It's absolutely outrageous. You're going to say you can't keep doing it, but you do keep doing it. So let's go again.
Is there any statues in the makings or plans of us anywhere that you know of? Or?
Yeah, well, Dan Andrews is up next. So if you want to follow him in, mate, you'll be the next
Maybe,
statue.
you know that in America they've got that mountain with all those 4 faces? So
Rushmore.
carved into the stone?
Rushmore.
Yeah.
Rushmore,
What about maybe
yeah.
the Grampians? Something like that. You and me. Anyway,
Yeah.
yes, I said, let's get into it. There's 3 this week. The first one is race number 3. It's a horse called Gold Rush Guru. I've tipped it a couple of times, gone against it last time, and it did the job for me when I tipped it once, I reckon, and did the job for me last start when I tipped Athanatos to beat it. Now, this horse needs a right-hander. It's had lefties pretty much its whole life. It gets Jason Holder on Saturday in our feature. It'll bounce, go to the front. You can't go too slow on it. They've gone too slow on this horse the last couple. Needs to ramp it up from the 800. He's going to have the McAvoy horse Cavity Bay on his outside in the run, I would say. Blinkers go on. If Stubby's watching this, which he isn't, I would be ramping up to the 1,000. The thing on your outside, it's not going to run the trip. So you need to put it under pressure from the 600, really get up it, and you'll be winning race 3. Race 4 is a good race. I like a horse called Hang Your Hat. It is $7.50 in the market. I think it's a great each way chance. 4th up to a mile. It's got the mile run under its belt. So this is its real chance to peak. Hasn't had a hard run yet. If you watch its replays, this is a good one. If you're at home, you sort of want to take what we're saying but put your own twist on it. Have a look at the replays of Hang Your Hat. Probably should have won its last 2. It's ride last start. Fred Kersley rode it last start. I don't know why he didn't get to the outside of the 800. It was a real error. I reckon it nearly wins the race if he does that. I'm sure it'll get its chance on Saturday. It's good odds at 750. Back it each way in race number 4. And the last of them, Aztec Dancer. Bit of an asterisk. It likes firm tracks. Its form through winter when it copped those sort of wet tracks was poor. Had 4 weeks off at the back end of winter, got onto dry tracks. Its 3 runs on dry tracks have been really good. So if the rain arrives, if we're on a 6 or worse, don't be on Aztec Dancer. I think we'll be on a 4 or a 5. I think it's got a great chance in race number 7 each way. It'll be genuine tempo, sit out the back, swoop on them. It's got a good each way chance. So they're the 3. Gold Rush Guru for the win in race 3, couple of each way bets. Race 4, Hang Your Hat. Race 7, Aztec Dancer. Hopefully the train can keep rolling on.
Yeah, absolutely. There's the SA set for JJ, and as he said, that train, it is absolutely low flying. Let's get to my Vic set. Again, Caulfield. I want to play in the first here. I want to play with Sugar Coat. Massive or significant jockey change for me. Mellon goes on. I think this horse is going to be in the right spot. Happy to back Sugar Coat in the first. Race 3, trust exercise. You put an apple on top of your head, you get one of your best mates to fire a shotgun or something at it to make sure it hits it. This is what I'm doing with this camp. I have to try and trust them. This horse probably won defying market expectations. Now it's got market expectations in its corner. I need it to win. Trust exercise in terms of the camp for Keeneland in race 3. You can go on and be a major player in the Derby. Race 5, number 8, Isthmus. It was on at 500s in the Arrowfield last year and it just never got there, couldn't get out of its own way. First 2 runs this prep have been outstanding. On the min here, love this horse. Gate 1's a trick, so we just got to be careful on how the track is playing. Hopefully inside's okay. If it is, I think it'll put a hole in them. Isthmus. Race 7, number 8, Rag Magnero. We put this actually in the Pandora's Fox, in the Fox's Den, JJ. It ran really well first up. I want to be with it. I think it gets the right map. I think it sets up really well for Ray Magnero. And in the Cup, I want to with Buckaroo. It's a race where I think there's going to be situations where I reckon there'll be 4 or 5 errors made. And I'm with the horse that I think will probably make the least amount of errors, especially with Morera on. I think there's some dead wood in terms of stuff going around on this race. And Buckaroo, I think, is the one that is going to have the most high percentage play in it. So I'm with Buckaroo at around that $4.50. I think it's a good play. That's the Caulfield set, punters. Snap or don't snap, JJ. 53 of 64. We sort of let a couple go. I think we had 5 or 6 last week. 2 might have not gone our way. But again, still those numbers stack up solid as a rock. Race 1, Get a Fix, comes down from Sydney. Usually Sydney form holds up and market trends towards it. Just can't have this horse, around $4.20. I think if you like it, more than happy, go for your life. Just wait till the death. I reckon you'll get a better price. Too darn discreet one, the Manifold. So it's the right form line, people would say. I've just got that race not rating very well. Now, again, this race lacks a lot of depth, but at 360, it's probably still going to start favourite, this horse, but I think it ends up starting with a 4 in front. I think you'll get a bit of a better price, about $2 but there's no reason to get involved yet. They're my 2, don't snaps. You've got 2 as well, my friend?
I have. Race 3, Cavity Bay, comes over for our feature. It's a horse that's been running over that sort of 1,400 metre distance. They stretch it to a mile. Last start was average. Go to 1,800 here, and they put blinkers on it. Now, if you're coming for this race and you're putting blinkers on up in trip, it's because you think it needs the blinkers. And it's a telltale sign for me that it's probably A, not good enough, and B, might not run the trip. So I'm happy to risk Cavity Bay. It's been well backed too. Currently about 360. I've got it marked a lot longer, so happy to risk it. And in race 7, you see this a lot in Adelaide. You see it a lot everywhere, really. A horse that can win a maiden, first start, they go straight to a 64 the next start. The way the set weights maidens work in SA, they generally rise in weight. If you don't rate well winning your maiden, you got Buckley's in a 64, and I reckon Overstated didn't rate that well winning its maiden. It's 550. I've got it marked more than triple that. So happy to risk Overstated in race 7.
They're the 4 snaps or don't snaps, and they're all don't snap. So as we said, if you like them, not saying don't back them, but you're going to get a better price than what is on offer right now at PointsBet. Just wait till that occurs. That was a snap or don't snaps. Best part of the day, JJ. It's the pin the tail, my friend. 8-5, long way. String pieces. You know, Pride of Jenni, just a long way in front. It's getting a bit embarrassing now, isn't it?
It was that was
8-5,
ridiculous.
my friend.
Ridiculous.
It was
last week.
off the map, wasn't it?
Give me a spell. Has it finished
Well,
yet?
Drew won.
Has it finished?
No, it couldn't get out of its own way, could it? Very poor.
Well
maybe
done,
a horse that can't
I
handle
guess.
high pressure, but I suppose maybe a bit like you. You went with 280, I went with 275, so I shouldn't be clapping or anything like that. It started $2.15, the PointsBet SP for another will. As I stated, the overall there is 8-5 to the good. This week we're Pride of Jenni in the King Charles III. It was a bit tricky. We could have gone Caulfield Cup, but it was a flat open market. The Everest was the same. There was probably not much there. So we thought, let's go the biggest talking horse in Australia probably currently. You can kick us off, mate. What price have you gone Pride of Jenni in the King Charles III?
Got a mark 245 and 100% market. Just if it does dry out, I think Fangirl's got a much better chance. So I didn't sort of. Normally if I've got a horse marked 245 and 100% market, I'm probably tipping 230 as the SP industry-wise, 225, 230. Just with that fact that the track might dry out a bit and Fangirl might shorten, I've gone 240 is my SP with her, but she'll make her own luck. She's pretty tough.
She is. I've gone $2.80 for no other reason than you went 240, so I wanted to be a point of difference. But no, I've actually marked Fangirl favourite in this race, so I need probably the track to dry out. If it is on the softer side of, well, if it ends up a 6 or a 7, then Jenni's going to start. I think you're going to absolutely get this one for sure. But if we get a drying track, I wouldn't be surprised if there's just a massive push for Fangirl. Just go back to that number that she did exactly this race last year, where she absolutely smacked on 1x3. But again, that was a bone dry track. She might need that. But she's very much a Goldilocks horse, Fangirl. If she gets it, she could be something pretty special on Saturday. But really excited to look after that race because we've got Pride of Jenni. JJ goes 240, I go 280. See what you've got, punters. That is Pin the Tail this week. We're nearly there, JJ. Play of the day, my friend. You can kick off first because you've got one earlier than me, my friend, in the day.
I do, the Hillsmith Stakes. It's our feature. It's generally a thin race. It's a pretty thin race this year as well. Gold Rush Guru is the horse that I think is ready to peak. It's been good its last two. It's sort of led. It's probably not a leader, to be honest, at its best. If it ever goes to Melbourne, I'm sure they'll take a sit on it. But in this sort of field and this sort of lack of early tempo, I'd say this horse bounces straight to the front. Right-handed jockey's an important engagement here. I think he can sort of up the ante from the 800 and be very hard to beat. So Gold Rush Guru in race 3 for me. I don't think it'll drift either.
All right, very good. I've gone race 8 Caulfield, a horse called Ray Magnero. It's very good first up. We put in the Fox's Den in Pandora's Fox. I thought it was an outstanding performance. I've been waiting for a little bit. They've decided to go to this race. I think it's the right race for it around Caulfield. I think it'll settle probably worse than midfield and be able to power over the top. So Ray Magnero in race 8 Caulfield. JJ's gone Gold Rush Guru. That's the show, JJ. Thanks, mate. That was fun. And you get back to reading up on GWS and what they've done wrong, and you get back to me on some things that also the woke community should be getting involved in.
Yeah, I'm still angry about that. Don't tell me those sort of things right before we start filming. It's bad for my feng shui.
See you, punters. I'm going for a spew. Thanks for watching, punters. Please like and subscribe.
Imagine what you could be buying instead.
For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.